Maggard is here. We're going to start our KSR position preview for UK football. We'll hit every position, so we're going to start with the quarterbacks today. Give me, Freddie, for people, because most people listening to this have never seen Devin Leary play. So give me the Devin Leary in a nutshell, 30 seconds for the fans.
2 years ago, you asked Cash Daniel and I who was the best Mark Stoops quarterback. We both said Terry Wilson, even though Will Levis was on campus. I can now change that to Devin Leary will be the best quarterback that Stoops will have coached at Kentucky.
Wow, that's a strong statement. Okay, so initially, Will Levis, 33rd pick in the draft, had a great year. Why do you say that? What is it that makes you have Devin Leary with such high praise?
Devin Leary is more experienced as a starting quarterback. Will Levis was not when he got here. Leary has thrown 64 touchdowns compared to 16 interceptions. Levis, 43 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. So I see Devin Leary as a more processor in the pocket. He is more experienced as a pure pocket quarterback, and I think that's what Liam Cohen wants to see is operation in the pocket, that experience, break down a defense, and distribute the football to some exciting pass catchers, especially Barry Brown and Dane Key.
What we've heard coming out of camp is, okay, Levis was probably a little better running, deep ball, Leary a lot better short, precision passes and accuracy. Do you agree with that?
I do, but I also give Leary more credit for the deep ball than others do because of timing. Matt, right now you go over on campus at the football facility, there's 50 guys that can throw the football 50 yards. I mean, that's not hard to do, especially if you do it your whole life. I think Leary, with the timing of those deep balls, will be just as good as Will.
Okay.
Because how many throws are actually completed 70 yards downfield?
Not many.
One a season, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think that's an overrated trait. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Will, but there's no need for the quarterback to run in Cohen's system. I think Leary is a better fit because of what he can do in play action, how he is experienced and can get bad runs into good runs, and then everything with the passing game I think is beneficial.
It is interesting because Sean McVay's system, they don't really run.
No.
I mean, the quarterback doesn't run, so that was kind of, a different thing. With the talent that he has at receiver, tight end, et cetera, and Liam Cohen.
Yes.
Do you think that plays to all of Leary's strengths?
Absolutely it does. I mean, you got the big three receivers back, Barry and Brown, Dane Key, Tavion Robinson. That's 127 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 13 touchdowns. You have the tight ends. If Jordan Dingle's not practiced yet, but you include him in that group, that's 37 catches and 4 touchdowns. That's everything you need. And then I think you don't have Chris Rodriguez, you don't have a Benny Snell, but you got the best collection of running backs that Stoops has had as well with Ray Davis. Don't
skip ahead to running backs.
Right,
we'll do that another day.
But with he has everything around him to be a better quarterback.
You think he's got a potential to be the best of the UK quarterbacks?
Understood.
Where do you think? I know you know the rest of the SEC. Where do you think he'll rank amongst quarterbacks in the SEC?
There's going to be quarterbacks that throw for more yards, more touchdowns, and more accolades based on scheme and system. As far as efficiency of what I would look for in a quarterback, I wouldn't take any other signal caller in the conference over Devin Leary.
Will you listen to this?
I know. It's high praise because I trust Freddie.
So other people you say maybe have better stats, but you think he is as good as any quarterback in the league?
For how he fits Cohen's system scheme, yes. I would take him over any other quarterback in the conference.
Give me, again, simplistically, difference between the offense we saw last year under Scangarello and what you think we'll see this year under Cohen. We had a lot of problems last year. I'm sure we'll get into details with the position groups, but what do you think will be the biggest change fans will see?
Kentucky went from first to worst in red zone touchdown percentage. Kentucky went from second to worst in third down conversions. You're going to see that get better automatically with Lee and Cohen. I think the balance is going to be there. The plays are more simplistic, Matt. Last year the plays were 4 paragraphs long. There's no way you can ask a college kid to operate that regardless of position. I think the simplicity.
Do you think that was a big part of their struggles?
Big problem. So I'll explain it like this. So Cohen's plays are similar to Scangarello, but instead of 4 paragraphs, there's 3 words. And the offensive linemen don't have to think. They can just react and play. Now, I do think protecting Leary and keeping him upright is the priority of the season. But the simplicity of what Cohen wants to do is more well explained, and the intent is more efficient than what Scangarello has.
All right, so now I think I said 9 of the last 10 years, a starter has missed at least one game at quarterback.
Yeah.
So who's the backup going to be?
Well, I want to dispel any talk of Destin Wade and Kyle Sharon not being good last year, even though they played for a coordinator in Scangarello that was not good. The freshman, Destin Wade, had a tough outing, but he was 16 of 30 for 98 yards against Iowa as a true freshman in his first action, right? Iowa was finished the season as the second best defense in the country. You have to put some context on that.
That's true.
And then Kyle Sharon, everybody, we don't have a backup. He goes 17 to 29, 187, 2 touchdowns and interceptions against Carolina with a bad offensive coordinator. I think that what Cohen does so well is he teaches, and the players understand. So the backups were not as bad as people make it out to be last year. I think they're going to be that much better. So
between Sharon, Destin Wade, and Deuce Hogan,
yes,
who's the main backup?
I think it's Kyle Sharon, but I think you can also implement Destin Wade in situational football. Bring him in on 3rd and 1. Bring him in the red zone. Nobody's told me this is not scoop or scuttlebutt, but I could see Kentucky having packages just for him, especially in the red zone. So I think, I don't think it's going to be that much of a step down. It's going to be pretty much a step down, but it will not be catastrophic as it was, as it could have been. So I like the Kentucky backup situation. We live in an era of college football where situations like Tennessee, situations like other places with LSU with 2 starters on the squad, those days are gone. If you don't play, you leave if you're any good, right? So I think Kentucky's in good shape, not great shape as far as backup quarterbacks.
All right, let's say Leary hits his peak. He plays the best version of himself.
Yeah.
How many of the 12 games on Kentucky's schedule, if Leary hits his peak, do you think they have the ability to win? I'm not saying you think they will win, but how many, if you got the best of Leary and we went into the game, would you say we have a shot at winning this game?
12 out of 12.
Really?
Yes.
So you really think this dude is the real dude?
I do think Leary is the real deal. Yes, I do. And I also,
I don't want to get excited.
When you hear Freddie say it, you can't help but get excited.
I mean, Freddie knows a lot more about this. I mean, you think we could go, if he plays great, we could, not saying would, but could go to Georgia and have a shot?
Theoretically, in my opinion, yes, because I think Georgia, I think it's going to take a step back because I don't think people understand how good Stetson Bennett really is or was. I mean, he was really, really good. I don't think people understand the coordinator that's now at the Ravens, what he did for Georgia. He changed that team. And I think Alabama has taken a small – I mean, they're still Alabama. But the vibe I got at Media Days, Matt, was nobody was scared of Alabama anymore. And so you take that away. I mean, the rest of the games are pick-ems pretty much. Maybe Tennessee's a little bit more favored than the others, but the rest of them are pick-em. So I don't think Kentucky will go 12-0, but I do think that if Leary is at his best, Kentucky will have a shot in every game they play this fall.
All right, so last year things kind of didn't go exactly as they wanted.
Yeah.
Let's say, what are your biggest concerns about Leary? What's the thing about him that if you were worried – like with Will, you would be, the biggest concern was decision-making and that kind of thing. What is the biggest concern about Leary?
The number one, only concern I have about Devin Leary is durability. Can he stay healthy? Because he's missed time in two of the 4 seasons he played at North Carolina State. Now, the one season, 2021, the same year Cohen was at Kentucky, Leary threw 35 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I mean, he broke all Phillip Rivers records at North Carolina State in his second, third year in the program. So if Kentucky's offensive line can, and we'll talk about them later, can keep him upright in the pocket and keep him safe, then, again, I think that the possibilities are unlimited for Leary and Kentucky.
Did you see the Glennon guy that was the guy with the neck? He played, I guess, at NC State, right? And he was asked about Leary, and he said, we've had Rivers, Russell Wilson, me, meaning Glennon, and he mentioned a couple other guys. And he said Leary is as accurate as any of them.
Yes. Yeah. And his accuracy is going to be a big thing we see differently this year. And, again, not taking anything from Will, because Will did things that Leary can't do. Every quarterback is unique, but I think the short to intermediate game, pre-snap, post-snap processing, and from hand to catch is going to be at a much higher level this year than we've seen in the Stoops era.
Well, there you go. Good stuff here from Freddie
Great
Maggard.
stuff.
We will continue our position preview later on. Probably do 2 or 3 of them next week. Freddie, thank you very much.
Thank you.